Alrighty. What's up, everybody? It is I, your travel god of extreme, Peter Joseph here, for a late Tuesday afternoon video right here on the main channel, Killer of Demons 66 Jim Knight. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button down there in hell, otherwise known as the description marks below. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below as well. In the comments section, don't leave stupid comments. You'll get sent to the shadow realm where Satan will eat your soul. So please do not do that. Respect my channel, respect my rules. And if you can't do that, get out of here. Go to your dead channel that nobody gives two fucks about and talk to yourself. And that's all I gotta say about that. But once again, like the video, subscribe to my channels, follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Share the video all over the internet. Don't forget to tap and slap that bell, belch, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one, because if you miss anything, well, you suck. And you're pretty much SOL. And you know what that means. And if you don't know what it means, look it up, asshole. And that's pretty much it. Alright, so like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you wish, you don't have to do it. But if you want to, be respectful. If not, get out of here. That's that. And for our first-time viewers, if you're here for the first time, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice cold one. It's a mixed drink, by the way. Grab yourself a cold one, whatever you gonna drink. Sit back, relax, put your feet up. Come on in, the water's fine. And enjoy the show. If you like it, great. You want more? Hit that bell. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to my other channels. Show them your love and support as well. And don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss anything. And that's pretty much it for that. So if you like it, great. You don't, go home. Go do something else. And we move on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on this overcast Tuesday, late Tuesday afternoon, getting close to Tuesday evening and Tuesday night, May the 13th, 2025. We got NXT coming up in about an hour or so from now. Should be a great show. We got the contract signing between Trick Williams, and say his name, and he appears. Sing with me now. I believe in Joe Hendry. Alright, so a contract signing between Trick Williams and Joe Hendry for NXT Battleground, which is next Sunday, not this Sunday, next Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, going head-to-head with Double or Nothing. So, both cards look pretty damn good, but I'm going to watch Double or Nothing because, you know, of course. So yeah, so Joe Hendry and Trick Williams signed their contract for the TNA Impact Wrestling World title. First time ever that on a WWE pay-per-view, another brand's title is on the line, and that is going to be the TNA World title. See if Trick Willie can be the first person to hold a title from a different company in WWE, but we have that, but we'll see what happens with that. Got a lot of other good stuff coming away. Like I said, we are 12 days away from Battleground in Tampa, Florida. So, we'll see what happens with that. With Dark State roaming around somewhere. Oba and Miles, don't call him Ozzy Osbourne. What? You know. So I'll see how Baby Orton does tonight, whatever they're going to be doing tonight. We'll see what Stephanie McCourt and Jordan Grace do ahead of their match at Battleground for the NXT Women's Championship. And a whole lot more tonight on NXT on the CW11. And that's that. So, check it out on time, on cue. And we move on. Alright, hope everybody had a great day, and if not, well, too bad. Not a great day for Jason Tatum of the Celtics. He is out for the rest of the playoffs. The Knicks pretty much won this series. They're up 3-1. It's going to be Game 5 in Boston tomorrow. Pretty much looks like it's going to be over unless a humongous collapse by the Knicks. But, I mean, it looks like the Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Pacers or the Cavaliers. I mean, we'll have to see about that. But Jason Tatum is out for the rest of the playoffs. He's out for next season and possibly the season after that with a torn Achilles. Oh. I mean, it sucks. But, you know, the defending champs, well, looks like they will not be defending their titles in the NBA Finals. So, who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened, but we'll see what happens with that. But I hope Jason Tatum gets better. But like I said, we won't see him next season and probably the season after that. So, you know, Boston's good run with Jason Tatum and company pretty much has come to an end. I don't know if they're going to be great next season. You know, but as long as they play pretty good and get the win tomorrow, push the Game 6 on Friday night or Saturday, we'll see what happens with that. But, you know, not many teams that come back from 3-1 down to win the series. But we'll see. Also, Pete Rose is possibly getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame because I did read something that, you know, Rob Manfred kind of lifted he lifted the ban where you can't get into the Hall of Fame if you've been banned from baseball and all this shit. But since Pete Rose passed away about a year or so ago, he kind of lifted that ban. So there is a possibility that Pete Rose might finally now be able to get into the Hall of Fame, at least be on the ballot. We'll see what happens with that. That's good news. And there was news today that Jake the Snake Roberts, he had heart surgery today. Came out of that pretty good. He's doing well, but, you know, we wish Jake the Snake Roberts well in his recovery. And that's pretty much it. We had to worry about Jake, but now he's came out of surgery. He's fine. The surgery was a success. Everything seems to be okay. But, you know, one hurdle down. You know, we cleared one hurdle. Now we got to clear a few others. So hopefully Jake will continue to get better because we don't need another wrestler passing away like we just lost Sabu on Sunday. So we had that. It was yesterday, I think. No, not yesterday. It was Sunday. I think Sunday we lost Sabu. And he was 60, so Sabu was up there hanging out with Mikey and hanging out with Terry and, you know, everybody. They're having fun. As far as from what Mike Awesome is telling me, you know, they're having a good time. They're having a great time. Yeah, we're having fun! Oh, Mike, you having fun with Sabu? What you guys been doing? Sabu's been jumping around, you know how he is. Yeah. He's a crazy man. He's a crazy man, but just take care of him. Don't hurt him too much. I won't. We won't. We promise. Okay. Thank you, Mike. Update from Mike Awesome. Thank you. But anyway. But we got that, so hopefully we don't lose Jake the Snake Roberts. But who knows, you know, you talk about heart surgery or any type of surgery, you know, there could be some complications coming out of it, but, I mean, we'll have to see what happens with that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on this overcast Tuesday, May the 13th, 2025, on the Kill Demons channel, I'm your host, Peter Joseph. I am a content creator talking about the wonderful world of professional wrestling, or whatever the fuck I want to talk about. If you like it, great. You don't, go fuck yourself. And that's that. Alright, before we get to NXT in about an hour or so, it is time for your late, super late, so far out of date, TNA, Impact Wrestling, and Ring of Honor reviews for May the 8th editions of TNA and Ring of Honor 2025. Alright, apologize, this is really late. I've had other things on my mind, and other things, you know, come up, so I'm doing it now. And then we'll get to your Raw review probably later tonight, and maybe your NXT review tomorrow, before we get to AEW Dynamite tomorrow. What's that? Alright, so let's get to TNA Impact Wrestling. coming off the last pay-per-view, and now we're pretty much going into, we're coming off Rebellion, like I said, and now we're getting ready for Under Siege, which is coming up, I think, next week, actually, next Friday, I think it is. So we're getting closer to that. We already know that, we got Trick Willie and Joe Hendry to worry about at Battleground, but I think they have a mixed tag team match coming up, or a tag team match coming up at Under Siege, but we shall see what happens with that. But anyway, we are emanating from the Brent Event Center in Irvine, California, and as always, our commentary team, the man himself, that's Tom Phillips and Aiden English, otherwise known as his real name, Matthew Waywalt. What's that? One half of the Vaudevillains. We move on. Lots of holes to fill before we get to Under Siege, so let's get into it. Don't waste any time. Alright, we start with an opening recap of last week's show, and then the opening sequence, we're ready to cross the line! Whatever their theme song is. I wish we went back to that theme song, but I digress. So, we move on. Alright, so we start off with Trick Willie! Shamo, and it's time to whoop that Trick! Well, we don't have Booker T going crazy this time. Oh yeah, man! Oh yeah! What? That stuff. We don't have that, thankfully. So anyway, he's the #1 contender to the TNA World title at Battleground, coming up on May the 25th, which is 12 days away. So he comes out, and he brags about how good-looking he is. Well, Lash Legend will love to, tell you about that too, but, because, Lash is just amazing. She got, and Trick Willie, be smacking them cheeks, but, lucky guy. Anyway, so, after he praises his good looks, he brings up taking out Joe Hendry last week on Impact. He's not bothered by everybody booing him, and he starts yelling at a fan for no apparent reason. Then he says that Joe Hendry wants to be liked, while Trick wants to be respected. Respect my daughter! And Trick is ready to take everything from Joe Hendry, who then, on cue, comes to the ring. You say his name, he appears. He comes down to the ring to have a big old brawl, and security has to break it up. So then Joe Hendry beats up one of the security guards just to blow off some steam. A little bit out of character for you, Joe. Joe's like, Joe's ready to fight, but he's like, I'm not going to fight anybody else. Like, get out of here, security guard! Alright, we get that. So Joe Hendry and Trick Willie, they're ready to beat the fuck out of each other. But we'll have to see what happens with the rest of the show. Alright, so that segment I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we go to the new, I don't know what his title is now. But we got Robbie E. Robert Stone, whoever you want to call him. He complains to Victoria Crawford, who we all know as Alicia Fox. That's her real name, Victoria Crawford. About the card, because Santino, you son of a gun! So basically, Robert Stone doesn't like the card because Santino is doing a really bad job at his job. Oh, like you can do any better there, Robbie E. I'm just saying. Let's go up, your good buddy Jesse and reform the bromance. Ugh. And then get Joaquin Wilde from NXT. Not NXT, sorry. Get DJ Zima Ion. Remember him? He's Joaquin Wilde in the LWO. Get him back, and then, reform the bromance in TNA. Let them go after the tag team titles that they held a few times. And then they'll go, that stuff. We got that. Victoria Crawford, I think, is going to be in action on the show, but we got that. But before we get to that, our first match of the night, I have to do this. We get my girl, my demon assassin, my demon bride, the co-founder of the prophecy. You know her, you love her, you can't get enough of her. That's my girl, Rosemary. Well, she's in action taking on Xia Li, or Lei Ying Li. That's her given name, I guess. I don't know. Then we have the resident pretty girl, Xia Brookside, on commentary. And this whole thing with Rosemary, Xia Li, Xia Brookside, I don't know what Rosemary wants to form this evil faction again with evil Xia Li, and she's trying to get Xia Brookside to turn to the dark side, and turn to the prophecy and all that shit. Not working out for Rosemary, but it is what it is. Alright, so it starts off with Xia Li fast and furious with a running cross-body for a nail fall. Rosemary comes back, takes her down, starts beating her ass. Then a fallaway slam gives Rosemary a near fall. Then she bites the hand that feeds. Bites the hand of Xia Li. We gotta bite her! Because Xia Li was chopping her, and she's like, ah! She's hungry, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. And then, Rosemary hits the upside down, whatever that is. I don't know who moves, I'm sorry. Makes it worse for Xia Li. And Xia Brookside thinks Rosemary is doing all this to prove a point. You think? She's trying to tell you to be a heel. Turn to the dark side. Stop being such a pretty girl. Pretty girls walk like this. You know that. So anyway, Xia Li fights back, hammers away in the corner, and Xia's like, oh, it's great, that's great, yay! Bitch. So Rosemary is like, well, fuck this! Beats her down for a little bit, then she goes into her, I think she went into her sneaker, her foot, basically, pulls out a pair of brass knucks. Well, that'll teach you how to turn heel. And, she goes to use the brass knucks. Xia Brookside's like, no! Takes him away, and then Xia Li, after she gets out of the ring, I was like, hey, referee, do something! Do something! Fucking referee. Rosemary turns around and gets hit with Thunderstruck! Good old AC/DC tune. Thunderstruck gives Xia Li the win in just about 4.5 minutes. Fuck! Alright, so Rosemary once again loses. Not a good night for the prophecy, as Xia Li gets the win, thanks to the other Xia Brookside. So Rosemary is pissed, and rightfully so. So we get that. Match wasn't anything to write home about. 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's that. And we're off and running with that. Okay, moving on. Alright, then we go backstage. We see Trick Witty and some security guards. I guess Trick was getting escorted out the building. So as he's going out the building, he runs into the man from LAX, Mike Santana. They have a little stare down. Possibly, if Trick wins the TNA World title, we could see him and Mike Santana go at it. I'm interested. So we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so after that stare down, Santana moves on to the crazy man himself, Sami Callihan, and some guy in a goblin mask. No, it wasn't Cyrax, I'm sorry, but, God forbid. That guy's a creep. He gets himself into so much trouble, that guy. The guy's a nut. He needs to shut his mouth. Just shut up, do your shit, and ignore the trolls. I'm not defending the guy. I could care less about the little dweeb, but fuck him. Fuck him. If he can't just shut his mouth and move on, and then he deserves all he gets. But I digress. I care less for him. I don't want to know him. He can go fuck himself and continue to put his finger up his ass. I don't know. But it is what it is. Fuck him. Alright. No, but it wasn't him. It was some guy in a goblin mask. Santana appreciated the barbed wire massacre. Whew. That match with Mance Warner a few weeks ago. So Santana appreciates that. And then Sammy's like, oh, thank you very much. Like, code of honor, handshake, whatever you want to call it. And then First Class comes in, AJ Francis, Flop Dollar, Casey Navarro, and company, they come in. And they say they're here to talk to Sammy. And they're basically trying to recruit him to be in First Class. Well, I thought that's gonna work. So Sammy and the Goblin, they leave. And then Santana's like, no. I'm not impressed, Skywalker. Not impressive, Skywalker. No. Your moves are pitiful. Basically. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. So we'll see what happens with all that. Move on. Alright. Then we have the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Ash and Heather, by Elegance. Alright, so they're in some room. They're giving their so-called best friend Maggie Lee a makeover, and full results coming later. Joy! Remember how my girl Danny Luna and Jody Threat gave Ash and Heather, I think it was just Ash, I don't know if it was, I think it was Ash and Heather by Elegance, a makeover, and they turned them into goth chicks? I wonder what they're gonna make Maggie Lee! Alright, we got that. Alright, then we get to match number 2, the Great Hands. They take on the Aztec Warriors, Octagon, and, the Laredo Kid. Well, it's really Laredo, but whatever. We'll go that. Alright, so it's John Skyler, of the Great Hands, and I think what's his first name? Jason Hotch, I think his name is. So it's Hotch and Skyler of the Great Hands, taking on Octagon, not Pentagon, Octagon. Pentagon's different. Octagon and the Laredo Kid. But it was a pretty good match. It didn't last that long though. 4:16. Before the match, the Great Hands say that Mustafa Ali has changed since getting his butt handed to him by Santana at Rebellion. He basically is like, oh, we're sorry for what happens next. Like, we care. Anyway, so Laredo Kid and Hotch run the ropes to start until Laredo slaps Hotch right in the back of the head. Biff the mic, boing! Biffed him right in the back of the head. And then Octagon comes in for a spinning high cross body. And then a springboardy wrist drag. That's a mouthful. Springboard wrist drag. Arm drag. Wrist drag. Whatever you want to call it. I just call it a flippy dippity doo. Anyways, we got that. And then John Skyler comes in, gets on a cheap shot from the apron. And then a neckbreaker gets a near fall on Octagon, which that didn't last long. Octagon rolls over, gets the hot tag to the Laredo Kid, pick up the pace, and then all 4 men in the ring. And then the Aztec Warriors hit some Lucha Libre style flippy dippity doos to the floor. They go back in, and a missionary driver puts Hotch down, which does a handstand springboard moonsault. That's a mouthful too. And Octagon goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. The Aztec Warriors get the win in a little over 4 minutes. There you go. Good match. 2.5 out of 5 stars. That's that. So we get some Lucha Libre for that ace. That's that. Move on. Then after the match, it gets a little bit bad for the Aztec Warriors as Mustafa Ali comes in and jumps them. But then the Rascals come out, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. They come in and make the save. And that's pretty much it. Speaking of Zachary Wentz, he's actually going to be facing his hot, soon-to-be wife. Now it used to be Gigi Dolan, now it's her real name Priscilla Kelly. They're going to be at some indie show, they're going to fight. Good joy. What are we going to do tonight, Brain? We're going to kick each other's ass. Yarf! You know. Imagine that, Pinky and a Brain having a wrestling match. Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Kick each other's ass. Yarf! You know. That would be a pretty good TV show. The Pinky and the Brain. pinky and the brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. I can't sing the rest of the song, I don't want to. Narf, you know. I keep saying Narf and I'm thinking Snarf from the Thundercats. Snarf, you know. Star was cool, but it was stupid at the same time. Him and Orko would be a great tag team. Even though Orko was on He-Man. But you know, Snarf and Orko were kind of like the weird people. Like, what the hell? Orko! Come here, He-Man, I will. Orko always got fucked up by Skeletor. And he's a magician. Come on, dude. Even though Skeletor is kind of a magician too, so. Skeletor! Remember! Your mother came out of your... No, never mind, I'm not gonna do that. But Skeletor will kick your ass. Let me move on. Alright, so we get that. So out of that fight between Mustafa Ali and the Rascals, Trey Miguel gets a match, impromptu, with Mustafa Ali. Why not? Even need Santino Marella to come out. We just had a match. This match lasted over 7 minutes. It was a pretty decent match. It's also with Mustafa Ali with some forms to start. Rolls over into a power bomb to plant Trey Miguel. And then a Tiger uppercut. Drops Trey Miguel again. But he sends Mustafa Ali to the floor for a baseball slide. And he wasn't safe because he got counted. So he's out. So it gets counted into a Hangman's DDT on the floor. Ow. Then they go back inside, and a standing corkscrew moonsault gives Ali a near fall, and a breaking suplex for the same. Then a rolling neckbreaker gets cut off with a gilly kata! Bang! And Tribigo gets the strike away at Mustafa Ali. Then he hits a top rope Meteora for a near fall. And then Mustafa Ali knocks him to the outside. And then Zachary Wentz and the Good Hands get into a humongous brawl. Why not? And then Wentz hits a moonsault onto Hotch and Skyler. And then Mustafa Ali sends Zachary Wentz into the ring post. Ow! Takes him out. And that distraction lets Trey Miguel come back with a diving tornado DDT. We get buck wild! You know, as the great Jay Briscoe would say. Gotta go buck wild on that bitch! What's that? Buck wild! Okay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Anyway. And then Tasha Steelz. Oh, yes, Miss Puerto Rico. Yes, sir. Tasha Steelz comes in. Comes out. Also, distraction. I wonder what distraction that might have been. Anyway. And then the Great Hands cut Trey Miguel off. And then Ali hits a swinging downward spiral. 1, 2, 3. Mustafa Ali, thanks to the cabinet, Mustafa Ali gets the win over Trey Miguel. In a little over 7 minutes. What are you gonna do? Alright, so I gave that pretty much 3 out of 5 stars, and that's it. And then we get more with Mustafa Ali as we get a look at him successfully defending the X Division title against Ace Austin at last year's Under Siege 2024. And the match was 16 minutes in full, and they only showed half of that. So we get 8 minutes of that match. Great. It was a good match, too. We only get half the match. Great job, TNA! Good job. Alright, move on. Alright, then we see Steve Macklin. He's all ready to face his arch nemesis slash friend slash arch nemesis. I don't know what it is, but they've been fighting for way too long. So he's ready to face EY, Eric Young, and a dog collar match. Oh, you know how those go. Oh boy, we gotta see some blood. You want blood? Alright, thank you there, Steel Dragon. Now we got a dog collar match for the Intercontinental title. And hopefully end this I don't know how long this feud has been going on, at least 6 to 8 months now. It needs to fucking end. If it doesn't end in this match, I don't know how you end it. Somebody get me a, well, I would say somebody like put him in a loser leaves TNA match already. Get him out. Stop the madness. Alright, so we get that. Alright, we move on. Alright, then it's time for Indy Hartwell. As, you know, Indy Hartwell doesn't have Sexy Dexty anymore. Well, she's on her own, looking great as always. She talks about everything she's done to get to TNA. Pretty much didn't really have to go that far. Including how much she loved TNA wrestling. She doesn't want to be a knockout because she wants to be the knockout. Why not? I think she can be the knockout and really tell Hickenbottom and, you know, Hunter, like, hey, yo, you fucked up! I thought they had a good thing going with Indy Hartwell. She was a former NXT Women's Champion, even though she got injured when she won the title, which I thought was, you know, it sucks. The same thing like Finn Balor when he won the Universal title the first time. He got injured right after SummerSlam, dropped the belt. They had a tournament which Kevin Owens won, which he had a good run until Goldberg came around. Why did he have to lose the belt to Goldberg? Yeah, it was Goldberg, right? I think it was Goldberg. I don't think it was Brock Lesnar. He could have just lost the belt to Roman and nobody would have gave two fucks. But he lost to Goldberg. Ugh. Anyway. So, you know, she went to the main roster. She's there with Candice LeRae. They had a couple of matches together. Nothing really major with Indy. I thought they were going to reform the Way. Gargano's there. Ciampa Away is there. Even though he was not part of the Way. And then, you know, Dexter is part of the Wyatt Six now, who we haven't seen in months. You know, I don't know, they couldn't really do anything. I thought they would maybe continue the Indy Dexter marriage, like they maybe have a storyline where Indy gets pregnant, and Dexter's like, you know, Dexter has this like weird look, like, and maybe they have a who's the father thing. I don't like those things, but you know, like we know it's Dexter. Dexter's like, I'm not the dad, or some shit like that. They couldn't do that. I mean, it would have been nice if maybe Austin Theory would have came back to the Way, and it would have been all nice and gravy like it was in NXT. But it seems like we're getting the Vince McMahon treatment. Everybody comes up for NXT. Oh, they have a nice little push, and then pff, down the drain, out the door. That's how it is. Not so much they did that to Dakota Kai. But Dakota Kai was just sadly too injury prone and they got rid of her. And now she's going to probably be in AEW pretty soon. Don't know because we won't see her probably till the summertime. Probably like July or August with her 90-day non-compete clause. If she was in NXT, she gets a month. I thought it was 60 days for NXT, but it's actually 30 days. So everybody that was in NXT, that got released from NXT, like Jakari Jackson or Menza and people like that, we'll probably be seeing them pretty soon. I say by the middle of June, we see Miss Jakari Jackson. Or Jamara Jackson. Her real name is Jamara, I believe. But we'll see what happens with that. We move on. Alright, so good little video for Indy. And we'll see what happens with her in the future in TNA. That's that. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we go to the former TNA Tag Team Champions. We got the Hardy Boys. We got Matthew Hardy, Broken Matt Hardy, yes! Wonderful! Delete! And his brother, Jeff Hardy, dude! Yeah, Jeff Hardy, they come back. Well, they come out for a chat, I should say. They talk about losing the titles to Nick and Ryan Nemeth. That's Dolph Ziggler and Ryan. They lost them at Rebellion in a good match. And it makes them feel like they let the fans down. In a way, yes. Well, that doesn't work for them, bro. But now it's time to fight, scratch, claw their way back to get those titles back. Or don't you have a rematch clause? Anyway, they want to scratch and get their titles back, their way back to the titles. They are on the Hardy Soul Train. Okay. And it's time to delete the new champion's title reign. Well, that brings out the Nemeth brothers, who say, well, we're going to make this short and sweet. Yeah, a little less talk and a lot more action, thank you. Thank you, Dolph. Because they have a plane to catch. Where you go? I wonder where you're going. Is it Puerto Rico? Maybe we all know who lives there. Anyway, they think the Hardys are legends, but sometimes legends fall. Great song, by the way. I think Godsmack had a song like that. Anyway, they say the rematch can take place at Under Siege, but under one condition. It has to be a ladder match. Why not? But never mind, because Jeff can't go to Canada. Oh, I don't know. I think maybe Jeff has some things in Canada. Yeah, like, oh, you can't let him in, his visa or some shit. Alright, so he says, never mind, we can't do the match in Canada because Jeff can't go there. So then Santino Malala, you son of a gun, he comes out. He's like, alright, since we can't do that, we're going to have Jeff versus Dolph Ziggler next week, which is this Thursday. That's going to be an epic match because they haven't fought one-on-one in many years. And then Matt and a partner of his choosing versus the Nemeth brothers for the belts at Under Siege. So I don't know how that's gonna go. Who Matt can pick to go against Ryan and Nick Nemeth in Canada, because Jeff can't go there. But will a certain guy named Willow make an appearance? I doubt that, but I'm going to have to see what happens next week with Under Siege. Alright, so good promo, 3 out of 5 stars. Move on. Alright, then we get a look at Nick and Jeff in a hardcore match many years ago on Monday Night Raw. And it's going to be their first singles match. No hardcore rules, it's just a regular singles match. See what happens with that. I think Dolph Ziggler will win. I just have a feeling. I got a feeling. I got the feeling. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you know you... Well, if you know that song, points to you. If you don't, oh, fuck you. It's an old 70s song, I'll just say that. Moving on. Alright, so we got Dolph Ziggler and Jeff Hardy in a regular match next week, and at Under Siege for the tag team belts, we got Ryan and Nick Nemeth taking on Broken Matt Hardy and a mystery partner. I wonder who that could be. I think it might be Leon Slater. I have a feeling because he's such good friends with the Hardys. So probably Matt and Leon Slater going after the belts. That's what I think we're going to see that this Thursday night on the program. But we move on. Alright, so all that 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, back to the action we go with the knockouts. And we have, I believe this is Alicia Fox's return match. We haven't seen her in like 10 some odd years. But anyway, she takes on Brittany Brooks. Whoever that is. Robbie E on commentary. This match was sloppy. I think Alicia Fox, Victoria Crawford, whatever you want to call her, had a lot of ring rust. She tries to hit the axe kick and came out of the corner. He's like, axe kick, bleh. It looked like shit. Booker T was having like a fit watching this match. What the fuck? Oh, dog. Anyway, Victoria Crawford wins in basically under a minute and a half. Match again with dud. Zero. I didn't like it at all. It was just blah. And then after the match, the TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich comes out, and then they have a big old brawl, cat fight, with Alicia Fox, and then Tessa Blanchard comes in, drops Masha, and then Santino Marella comes out and says, "You son of a gun!" He makes a tag match for next week. But then Robbie E comes out and says, "Well, I get to pick Masha's partner, and it's gonna be Nikita Lyons." Wow, that's a big downgrade. You have Nikita Lyons from NXT with her ginormous thighs, almost as big as Randy Orton's, and then she's teaming with the TNA champ. Great. Yay. Alright, so Masha and Nikita Lyons take on Alicia Fox and Tessa Blanchard. Great! Alright, so we get that. Alright, then we get more of what's coming this coming Thursday. So we got that. And then the NXT ambassador, Miss Adriana Grace, that's Santino's hot daughter. She tries to calm things down between her dad and Robbie E. And then Tessa Blanchard comes in, starts yelling at her about the proper way to build on your family's legacy. Well, you should know, Tessa. Tessa knows all about that, being the daughter of Tully Blanchard, one of the greatest men to be in the Four Horsemen, former tag team champions with Arn Anderson, and, you know, beating around Ric Flair and Ole Anderson and J.J. Dillon and company, you know, a good man. Tully Blanchard was also a TV champion, I believe, in NWA. We got that. Let me move on. So we'll see what happens with that. So I give that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we go, I think this was the main event. Let's see here. Yes. Alright, so we go to the main event. A dog collar match for the Intercontinental title. Steve Maclin and his arch nemesis, EY, Eric Young, who comes out with a Northern Armory. And it was a very bloody dog collar match. And you will not see this much blood in TNA for the foreseeable future. Because they got away with bleeding. They got away with too much blood. I'm like, that's bullshit. Anthem Sports, you can suck a dick. But, yeah, pretty much Anthem Sports, you can suck a dick. TNA management, whoever thought of this stupid idea. We need more blood! Alright. Matt Cardona, woo woo woo, you blew it on commentary. So, they go at it fast and furious, and already Steve Maclin is busted wide open. And then EY chokes away in the corner, and then Elijah is watching backstage. And then Steve Maclin is gushing like a fucking faucet, bleeding like a stuffed pig or a woman who's on her period. And those those tampons ain't working correctly. Anyway, the Army rubs it on their white shirts. Ugh, nasty. EY chokes with the chain on around the ring post. Ugh. He's just beating the shit out of Steve Maclin. And then finally, Steve Maclin cuts him all off with a big flippy dippity do. Get back up. EY uses the chain to pull Maclin throat first into the ring post. Ow! And we go to break. We come right back. EY continues to beat a very bloody Steve Maclin. I think when he bleeds really the wrong way. And I've seen EY bleed, and he gushes like a faucet. I mean, it seems like these people, they get the little, the razor blade, and go, zzz, they go, oops, I meant to do it this way, I meant to, little nick, but they go, zzz, and then blood goes like, pfft, like a freaking waterfall of freaking blood comes out. It's like, this is nasty. But anyway, Maclin is bleeding like a faucet. Ace Austin's down watching. along with Elijah, so maybe some future contenders for the Intercontinental title. Macklin fights up with a clothesline, whips, and then starts whipping EY with the chain. Then an angle slam gets a near fall, because you can win this match by pinfall submission, or I think knockout. Anyway, a running knee drop drops EY again, and then we see Mance Warner and his hot wife Stephanie DeLander watching from the stage as we go to the outside. Macklin has to fight off the Northern Armory again. I mean, can't we just keep these guys out of here? And then EY pulls him off the apron for a big-time crash. Then they get back in. Macklin catches EY on top and then beats up the Northern Armory. Why not? And that distraction, that's EY, who, I don't know if he was busted open as well, but he was covered in Macklin's blood. But anyway, he hits a power driver for a near fall. But then, see, Macklin uses the chain to pull him off the top rope into the KIA. 1, 2, 3. Steve Macklin still retains the Intercontinental title in just under 14 and a half minutes. I mean, coming off a bloody barbed wire massacre with Sami Callihan and Mance Warner, they go even more blood with Macklin bleeding like a faucet. Not so much EY, but, you know, now they took the excessive blood, and they say, no more of that, no more excessive blood, this is TNA standards and practices. What, somebody called the New York State Athletic Commission? Those fuckers. Because we can't have blood here in New York. Oh, God forbid. And you know what, GCW is coming to my neck of the woods in July. You think they're going to have that much blood and violence there? We'll be lucky to see barbed wire over there. We'll see doors and tables. Oh, that's fine. Oh, we can't see excessive blood or bombs or glass. Oh, no glass in New York. Fucking pussies, the New York State Athletic Commission is. Pussies! You want blood? Go to Jersey. Why does New York always get the shaft? Maybe I should just move to Jersey. Or just move to another state that has excessive blood. I don't know. But anyway, Steve Macklin retains the title. And that's it. Then he celebrates to end the show. And that's it. Pretty good episode of TNA Impact Wrestling. And I gave it 7 out of 10 stars. And that's it. That's it. Hopefully this feud between EY and Steve Macklin will go bye-bye. Because I'm getting sick of it. I liked it at the start. Then it's, you know, how feuds go for like 6 months to about a year. You know, the Bloodline feud started to get really, 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 you know, bad at times. And it kind of picked up here and there. But now there really is no Bloodline feud anymore. So, because Roman's not coming back, so maybe Money in the Bank. If he does come back, I don't know. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so 7 out of 10 stars for TNA. Now we go to Ring of Honor Wrestling, which emanated from the Adrian Phillips Theater, a lovely theater, at the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. All those great people that blow their money down there in AC. I'm one of them. Me and Rosa are one of them. We go, we have fun, we boogie, and then we proceed to lose all our money. We don't win much money back, but you know, we have a good time. That's the main thing. We have a good time, but we lose most of our money. No, only one time we came back with like $150. That was it. Haven't gone in like a couple of years, but I'm probably gonna go maybe next year. You know, we're thinking about going next year. Maybe in August. We're thinking about August, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I know in this moment it's gonna be in Atlantic City and middle of August. Trying to see if I can, either go for, well, I can go for the night and come back in the day, and the next day, because it's a Saturday night show, come back Sunday morning, so, maybe get a room for the night, like a nice little $100 room for the night, and then, just save up for the bus that goes over there. We get the casino credit, and then get there mad early, like around I would say 3 o'clock. Gamble for a little bit, maybe have a little bite to eat, and then go right to the hotel room. Put the things down, and then go down to where the show is gonna be really quick. I think it's a 7 o'clock show. Get there about 6. We finish up at about 4 o'clock. Get up to our room. And then like 5 o'clock, start going down to the venue where the concert's gonna be at, and then we just wait. Because I'll try to get VIP tickets, but certain shows I don't get VIP with my job, so this one, it's not gonna be that one. It sucks. I try to ask my boss for VIP. He's like, he's trying to work some strings and hopefully get me some VIP passes, but so I can get in really early. I don't even have to go freaking gamble. I can go gamble after the fucking show, which I probably do. I might do with the band. I can do that with the band. I'm like, hey guys, you wanna go gamble? Why not? Let's go. Maria can just be in her tour bus and she can either be on the tour bus or she can do whatever she wants. Go into her nice hotel room with her boy toy Joe Coachella, and then me and the guys will just hang out at the freaking bar. By the way, speaking of in this moment, happy birthday to the man who plays those skins. That's the drums, by the way, for you dumb people at home. Happy birthday to my brother, the Beast, Kent Dimmel of In This Moment. Happy birthday, sir. I miss you, dude. We need to party when we in AC. And big ups to my boy Randy Whitesell, Travis Johnson, and my good friend Chris Howarth of In This Moment. And Maria, too. And all the Blood Girls, too. Maybe we'll all hang out and party after the show. Not like that, but we'll just party and have fun. With the missus, of course, too. She's in tow. But we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so let's get the Ring of Honor from New Jersey. Ian Ricca Boring and the Pasta. Caprice Coleman at ringside. Alright, we're still a long way away from Supercard of Honor, July the 11th, the day before All In. Which, that weekend might be massive. Massive weekend. We got Dynamite, then we got Collision the next night on the 10th. Then the 11th, we got SmackDown and Supercard. And then the 12th, we got Saturday night's main event going head-to-head with All In, I think it's earlier. I think it's like 3 o'clock, something like that. So I think, it is. Yeah, I think it is. So All In's going to lead into Saturday night's main event, which could lead into Evolution 2. They're thinking about having Evolution 2 on July the 12th. That's going to be crazy. Why don't you just have it the 13th? Don't have it the same fucking day as freaking All In. Come on. Come on, Hunter. Stop. I mean, you already have Saturday night's main event. Why can't you just have, on that Sunday the 13th, July 13th, why can't you just have Evolution 2 by itself? But no, we're gonna have a pay-per-view the same day as freaking AEW, like they're doing with Double or Nothing and Battleground. Who's gonna watch both of them? I'm watching Double or Nothing. I really don't care much about Battleground. I mean, we all know Oba's gonna beat Miles, don't call him Ozzy Osbourne, easily. That'll be the shock of the year if Miles Bourne beats Oba. I don't know. I just hope and pray we don't get Evolution 2 the same night. I mean, Saturday night's main event is fine where it is at 8 o'clock because All In will probably be over by the time Saturday night's main event will begin. Because All In is like 5-6 hours at least. The scroll would be on by the time Saturday Night's main event will be on. Maybe. Who knows? But, I mean, we have to see what happens with that. But there is rumblings going on that Evolution 2 will be the night of All In. And I don't like it. It should be on the 13th. Have it on a Sunday, nothing's going on. Or just have it the week after, like July 19th. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Alright, so there we got nothing going for no matches as of yet for Supercard. We're still going with the I don't even know if we have tournament matches for the women's Pure Championship. You know, Athena's still the forever champion. I think she's facing La Catalina for that precious belt. Let's see what happens with that. Alright, so we get the opening sequence, run down the card, and we start off with match number 1, Black Machismo! Ooh, yeah! Dig it! Jay Lethal takes on former World TV Champion Atlantis Jr. Decent match. Jay Lethal goes for, ooh, yeah! Macho Man elbow, hail to the king, ooh, yeah! But it's a little bit too early for that. Atlantis rolls to the outside. And, Lethal starts going after the leg. And then a Dragon Screw leg whip sets up the woo! Hey, chaboy! Figure 4. It gets broken up easily. Then Jay hits the Gilmore Kata! Bang! Drops Atlantis Jr., who goes right back with a power slam. Then he goes up top, hits the Eddie Guerrero, let's see. Frog Splash. 1, 2, 3, shockingly. Former TV champion Atlantis Jr. beats former TV champion and world champion Jay Lethal in under 8 minutes. What are you gonna do? That's that. Decent match, 2.5 out of 5 stars. Let me move on. Alright, then we go to match number 2, the lovely Layla Gray. She takes on the problem solver Marina Shafir. This match lasted 5 minutes. Wasn't a great match. Layla fights up with a drop kick, but Marina beat her down, and then she grabs Mother's Milk, and Layla tapped out immediately. You're like, this was pretty much a, one of those matches. Like, I guess get out of here already. 5 minutes, in, out, goodbye. So, see what happens with that. Match, I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Was what it was. Alright, match number 3, we have Lee Johnson and his good buddy Blake Christian. They take on the Spanish announce project of Angelico and Serpentico. And it was a pretty decent match. Nothing right home about. Under 9-minute match. We got a downward spiral into a swanton by Serpentico. Nice. For a near fall as Blake Christian made the save. Lee Johnson then cuts Serpentico off. Holds him up for a Super Canadian Destroyer. And then a Brain Buster on the knee. Kind of like collateral damage by Adam Cole, baby. Finishes off Serpentico. Alright, so Lee Johnson and Blake Christian actually finally get a win. Match was, 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that's pretty much it. So maybe they're in line for a tag team title shot against, Dustin Rhodes and the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. I don't even know what's happening with Sammy and Ty Conti. Because I saw on his Twitter page, he said, when one door opens, another closes. So I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about, Sammy? Did you get fired? Or released from AEW / Ring of Honor? I was nervous, like, what the hell's going on? But anyway, we move on with that match. Alright, then we go to our next match. We go to the ladies once again. Pure Rules match for the women. So, it's not a tournament match. This is, I guess they're testing out what we're going to see in the tournament for the new Ring of Honor Women's Pure title. Alright, so first time ever, Pure Rules match. Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuoso, takes on Ashley Fox. we've seen her in TNA. She's doing a few things here in Ring of Honor. Not a great match, per se. Fox gets pulled into an armbar, has to use the first rope break. And then Purrazzo grabs a hair crab, sending Fox into the ropes for her second rope break, because you get 3, and on the third, you can't use it anymore. And then Purrazzo's Hangman's DDT on the arm gets a near fall, and a clothesline for the same. Then she hits a powerbomb into the Venus de Milo, and I think it was in the middle of the ring, and then finishes off Ashley Fox in just under 6 minutes. Finally, we see Deonna Purrazzo back to her winning ways, and match was meh. It was alright. 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's pretty much it. Alright, then we get Queen Amanada, the one and only. She's preparing for the Women's Pure Title Tournament, whenever it is. I don't know when it starts. Haven't heard anything. So, we do know she's in it. Taya Valkyrie's in it. I believe Deonna Purrazzo's in it. I don't know who else is in it. Well, we got that. We got those 3 as right now. They're are in it. We'll move on. Alright, then we got the Women's TV Champion, Red Velvet from your mama's kitchen. Non-title Proving Ground match against Lady Luck. Well, she needed a lot of luck to win this match and go the full time limit. I think it was a 10-minute time limit. And if you win the match or survive the time limit, you get a future title shot. And Lady did a few things, not many. She pops right up with a quick Death Valley driver for a near fall, but then Red Velvet hits a spinning kick to the face for another near fall, and then the flipping face plant. 1, 2, 3, in a little over 5 minutes. Red Velvet gets the win. Match, you get 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's pretty much it. Moving on. Alright, then we get the Men's TV Champion, Nick freaking Wayne. He's all ready to go to Japan and win the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, which I believe has started already. So, is he going to win? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if he does win. But he's got a lot of good people in that tournament that he has to get through, but if he does, he does. If he doesn't, who cares? Alright, so we see that. So good luck to Nick freaking Wayne. And I assume his mom will be taken care of by Christian. Because, as we all know, Nick Wayne's mom has got it going on. Yeah. Okay. We move on. Alright. Then we go to the men's action. We have the Jolly Green Giant, Satnam Singh, takes on Lord Crew. Sounds like a guy from Final Fantasy. Lord Crew. He's the underling of Kefka. Kefka! Kefka-say? Mr. Kefka-say. And Kefka is not a psycho killer. Okay, nobody got that reference, I'm sorry. Anyway, match lasted a little over 3.5 minutes. Satnam Singh comes out in a Detroit Pistons jersey. Because the show was taped in multiple locations. Why was it taped in multiple locations? Makes no fucking sense to me. What is this, WrestleMania 2? Anyway, Satnam Singh beats the shit out of him, hits the choke slam, 1, 2, 3, match I could care less for. 2 out of 5 stars. That's that. Alright, then we get to something better. A non-title Proving Ground match. This time, the World Champion, Bandito! He comes out and takes on El Gringo Loco. And same rules apply if he lasts a 10-minute time limit or wins the match, he gets a future title shot. This match was pretty damn good. Back and forth they went, lots of flippity-dippity-doos. Bandito hits the Heady Galero frog splash for a near fall. Goes for the 21 plex, it gets blocked. They both go up top. Gringo Loco hits a super moonsault angle slam. It was weird. It was like an angle slam and a moonsault, like, in one move. It was very impressive for a near fall. And then Bandito comes right back with a super hurricanrana into a shining wizard 1, 2, 3 in the ever popular 616. And then Justin Roberts says, and your winner, the Ring of Honor TV champ, Mike, you moron! Justin Roberts, he's the fucking world champ. You didn't read your cue card right? Fucking idiot. Oh, he's the dapper one, but he's a fucking botch machine. Anyway, Bandito gets the win. Match was good. 3 out of 5 stars. And that's it for Ring of Honor TV for this past episode. And it wasn't that bad. So I gave it 6.25 out of 10 stars. And that's it. Alright guys, NXT is about to start in about 10 minutes, so I'm going to get to that. And then we'll do the review right after that on my Peter Joseph channel. And then we'll get to Raw tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll get to Raw. Going into Dynamite, and then we'll do your Dynamite review. And then we'll pretty much we'll be back on course, hopefully. But we'll see what happens with that. Lots of things going on. As we go to Memorial Day weekend with myself, I got a busy Memorial Day weekend, watching Saturday Night's Main Event, and Collision, and a double pay-per-view on next Sunday. You know, I gotta do predictions for all 3 of those shows. I gotta do reviews on that Monday, because Sunday's gonna be insane. So, Sunday night, I will do a Double or Nothing review. But on Monday, the Memorial Day, I'll do a quick NXT Battleground review. And then I may do a vlog for Memorial Day. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. And that'll get you ready for the Memorial Day edition of Monday Night Raw. I'll probably do that later Monday night, because I will probably have plans on Memorial Day, so I probably will be out for Memorial Day. Probably having a barbecue with my folks and my friends, and who knows. But I will be doing that, and then pretty much we're cruising into August. As we get into August, it gets a little bit tricky because I am going on a mini vacation. I'll be gone for basically 5 days in July. I don't think there's anything at the end of July, pay-per-view wise. I have to check the dates. But all I will say is next month I will be here all through June, all through July, August. I'm hoping to get through all of August. So SummerSlam, Clash in Paris, get into Labor Day. Then it gets a little, and as September starts, after Labor Day, it gets a little bit tricky. I'm hoping and praying I can, with my when I start my new work schedule in September, that I don't have, late hours, or anything like that. I don't think I will, but I should be okay for most of September. October, that is to be determined as we get to the end of the year. But I'm hoping and praying that I can be with you guys all through the rest of this year and going into next year. But if not, I will let you know, and we'll see what happens with that. There are some issues that I might not be able to do. I might not do videos as often as I do. And I am in line to get a new laptop pretty soon. Because my current computer is Windows 10 Pro, and pretty much Windows 10 is going to be extinct pretty soon. So, I got to save up for a new laptop, whether I get a refurbished one or a brand new one. It needs to be seen. I got to put all the the apps back on the new computer, and hopefully I don't run into any problems with my files and everything. I'll probably have to wipe this computer of the files I actually have, which I don't have much. I don't have a lot of, Rosa has a lot of stuff on this computer that she has to take off to put on her external hard drive. I don't have much, so I don't have to really worry about it. But that becomes a pain in the ass. Because it takes a long time to get her stuff, which is a lot of old pictures from like 2012, 2016, has to go all on the external hard drive, and that takes a long time. Even with my fiber optics, it might take a little bit less time, hopefully, but we'll have to see what happens with that. But I might keep the computer as a backup. But, you know, now with Windows 11 and all the, you know, the new stuff coming out, Windows 11 Plus and whatever, it's going to be a little bit challenging. So, you know, going into next year, hopefully I have a new computer, still be using the old phone and everything, and, I mean, we'll see what happens with that as we get into the second half of this great year, 2025, and beyond, my friends. So stay with me, hit that bell, smash that like button, leave a comment if you wish, but don't leave stupid comments. You'll get sent to the Shadow Realm, and Satan will eat your fucking soul. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Alright, guys, it's time for NXT. I'm gonna go watch it, have some fun, have my sensible dinner with the missus, and then we're gonna watch NXT, maybe watch a movie after that, and then who knows. That's that. Alright, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. Once again, TNA gets 7 out of 10 stars. Ring of Honor for this past Thursday night, 6.25 out of 10 stars. And we'll see what happens this Thursday night on Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, as we're getting close to Under Siege with TNA, and we're rolling on until we get to Supercard of Honor for Ring of Honor. So this week's show should be pretty good. Next week's shows are going to be pretty good. I will do a Under Siege review when I get the results for Under Siege, when I do my TNA Ring of Honor review. Hopefully I'll do it that Friday, I think it's, that weekend. I'll somewhere in that weekend, maybe Saturday afternoon, early Saturday afternoon, I'll try to do a TNA review, with Under Siege results, and then we'll go right into, whatever comes out of that. Maybe Collision and Saturday Night's Main Event, on Saturday night. And going into Sunday, we got 2 pay-per-views. That's crazy. So, we'll move on with that. But please hit that bell so when those videos go up, you won't miss it. And if you do, well, too bad. Alright, now I will shut up and let you guys get out of here, watch NXT. So thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, peace!